Namaste, beautiful people, and welcome to 365 Days of Healing. Today we're going to make some bliss balls. Fairly easy recipe. If you make your own almond milk, you can use the pulp that's left over from the making of that almond milk. And here we have, here we have a cup of almond pulp. And we put that into the blender to blend in, and it's not wet, but it's it's moist. If you don't have almond pulp, you can use a cup of almond meal and use that instead, but you'll have to add more moisture into it. So then we take a cup of medjool dates. Medjool dates are better because they are very moist and they're closer to their natural state than the dried dates. If you can't get medjool dates, you can use the dried dates, but try, really do attempt to get ones that don't have additives and preservatives, because that is, just adding to the toxic effect that's in your diet. So medjool dates, if you can get them, and most places have them these days. So a cup of those, and then we have half a cup of organic cacao powder, which is a chocolate powder, of course. So just half a cup of that into your food processor. And then you will start blending. Now we'll do a blend, see how moist it is, and if it needs more moisture, then we sort of add in some almond milk or soy milk or whatever sort of alternative milk that you might be using. I'm going to blend now, and I'll be back to you in a minute. So here we are. You can see if I squeeze that together, it's actually fairly moist, and it does actually press into a ball. So that's what we're looking for. So this mixture really doesn't need any more moisture, but I will put a little bit in, not very much, just to make sure that it is all blended properly. So that's around about dessert spoon between a dessert and a tablespoon, and I'll put it back on to blend once again. And here we are back. There's our mixture, nice and moist, and very definitely will form easily into a ball. So we just clean off the blades. Be careful when you're doing this with a food processor, because the blades are pretty sharp. All right, then we get another dish with coconut. Just if you can get an organic coconut, better. And just a desiccated coconut, or you could use a shredded coconut. You can also use sort of ground almonds or cashew nuts or some sort of nut to coat it in. So then you take just small pieces and you roll it, and then just roll it in your coconut. And there you go. There's our first bliss ball. Right, I'll just pop them into there, and we'll do some more. So you can make them as big or as small as you want. If you make them big, of course you'll have a few. If you make them small, you'll have more. There you go. It makes sense, doesn't it? So we'll just roll those and roll them in the coconut until we've got a batch of bliss balls. Very, very simple and easy recipe. They are delicious, of course, and nutritious, but they also freeze well if you want to make a batch and you're not going to eat them quickly, because the ingredients will, or the almond pulp, not so much the almond meal, but the almond pulp will ferment if you don't pop it into the freezer or eat it fairly quickly. Not so much the almond meal, and with the almond milk or the soy milk, that could go off. So, you know, my recommendation is, of course, to put it into the freezer if you're not going to eat them fairly quickly. But if you have children, they love them. A great alternative to eating other sweets that they maybe become addicted to. These are quite addictive as well, but not in the same fashion, because it's highly nutritious food, which your cells are actually looking for the highest level of nutrition that you can take in. So the almonds and the dates are full of photonic light codes, and of course that's exactly what our body needs. So there we go, a fairly easy recipe put together with no fuss and no bother if you've got the equipment to do it with. But you do need to have some sort of a process, a food processor or food blender or something to start making up your Bliss balls. To this you could add things like dried figs, if you like dried figs, or you could use sultanas. Just make sure if you do use sultanas, it gives it a tangier sort of flavour, the sultanas. But if you do use sultanas, make sure that you're not adding in some of the preservatives and additives that they use in sultanas. If you can get organic sultanas, yeah, perfect. So I hope you've enjoyed this process of making our Bliss balls, and I'm wishing you a day full of bliss. So there we go, a bowl full of Bliss balls. Enjoy. Namaste.